You've been wondering and very frustrated because for a little while now, many times many of the recordings, there have been continual and constant disruptions and sound quality messing up. And sometimes the messages you think are very important messages that would be beneficial. Everything that needs to come out will come out in just the right way, in just the right timing. There is a reason why the messages that have come forward in the order in which they have done so. It was both for you and for those that may find them. It does not matter. It does not matter if they actually get the messages or not, if someone hears them or not. It will not affect the overall outworking. But there are those who have a deep yearning to know, who want to be part of it, who want to play their part in it, to want to ride the wave, so to speak. And it is a beautiful thing to ride the wave. So here comes the puppies, because whenever we come forward and speak, they have to be part of it all. They know. The energy is such. They notice the shift in energy. And that is why they always come and must be part of it. But there is a reason why it has come forward in this manner and so quickly. It was not coming like, a message here and a message there. Trickling. You're not inclined towards a slow, steady trickle. And there are those that have messages that have been very wonderful and encouraging and strengthening and dealing with all the many myriads of questions and building, and they have taken on a great and important and beautiful task. And there are many hearts and souls that have found solace in them and it has helped them to align to their divinity, and that is beautiful. Yours was never set out to be the job of carrying the world upon your shoulders. That was never you did not want, nor are you inclined towards being a voice that many people hear. It is not, you're not comfortable with it, but you do feel the need to, you cannot ever hold back. So it's a bit of a quandary. How do you put out that which you know, which you cannot hold back, because you must share it, but at the same time not have all the, where you are living right now is very, this is a culture of stardom and famousness and calling of attention to yourself and making a name for yourself and having people notice you, and you are not very comfortable with that because it messes it up divinity to an extent. Some people can pull it off. They just got it done, and there they are. And they express themselves. And there is always the ones that are uncomfortable with it and push back, but they just keep shining forth with their divinity, and it just sort of blasts through it all, and that's fine, and that's good. Your task was always meant to be one of more, from the perspective of those on earth, as one of more in the background. You were never supposed to be in the forefront from the perspective of those on earth, because everything that comes with it is too messy, and you have so many other things that you have to work on and that you are working on, and you do not need that extra distraction. You're trying to understand what is happening, what we're saying here. Yes, we are sharing the messages, and we are sharing them with you, and you have to share them with others. But it is not necessary that they hear these things. It's not necessary. Because, my dear ones, God is coming, and He is going to realign things. It is not necessary for you to know everyone else that was working in the background. If you go to see a show or you watch a movie, you see that which is put before you, and you don't always pay attention to the sound engineer or the person who was in charge of bringing meals to the set, or who was the makeup artist for this person. Some people find it very interesting and see how important it is and are really impressed with it. But for the majority, they're just there to see the show, to take the ride, to have the experience. This is the background. We are the background people. We're the ones in the background. But God is the star. God is the one everyone is here to see. And He's going to come forward, and He's going to go whoosh, and it's going to be wonderful, and He's going to realign everything, because it was funny. This was how this all began and started. It was a discussion about fixing something that is broken. And once something has been broken, if you fix it, there is always a weak spot. And that is what has been happening. Not just souls. The whole universe of the souls has many little weak spots. Many weak spots. And we can try to fix or to realign this or that. But those weak spots are still there. And that is not okay with God. That is not okay. He wants you to shine in your fullest of your divinity. Brightness, 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 wonderful and grand. And there's only one way that can happen. There is only one way that can happen. God has to bring everyone to the realigned and fully realized divinity, that which only He can do. And we marvel, because the love and the task for which He has taken on. Do not worry. All is going to be realigned. There are going to be, right now, my dear ones, you are feeling the little cracks, the little weak spots. They're feeling tender. It is like if you had a bad injury, and 10, 15, 20 years later, in certain situations, in certain weather or stress situations, that old injury, you notice it. It flares up. Right now, all the old injuries over all the lifetimes are flaring up. You're noticing them. And you're like, am I going to have to live with this forever? And the answer is no. No, you're not. Yes, they are flaring up now because you're in a time of stress and acclamation. God is already present, and His mere presence is reawakening your divinity. But your divinity is, in many cases, a little off kilter. And so, as it's reawakening with little glitches and off kilterness. And you're like, ooh, this is uncomfortable. I don't like this feeling I'm having right now. Why doesn't it feel good? If I'm getting better, why doesn't it feel better? Because you see, dear ones, it is your divinity awakening because God has come. It helps us to see what needs to be realigned. That is why it is so uncomfortable now. And you may get cranky and you may just want to not do it anymore, and that is okay. Because when you are uncomfortable and the old injuries flare up, you may have to sit down and rest. You may have to go take extra measures to deal with it, and that is okay. That is okay. Do whatever it is that you need to do to get through it. It's going to get better because they're not going to be the old broken spots, the old tender spots. They're not going to be there. And that which is divine realigned, and you are completely whole unto yourselves. There's going to be this moment of a gasp. And then you're going to do a self-check. Like, is this really all me? Do all the parts work? Does this, and you remember old injuries you used to have, and you'll test them. You move that shoulder, you twist that ankle around, like, hey, wait a second, I don't feel it. It's not hurting anymore. And there will be a time period of that. Readjusting. And it's like, oh, I never used to be able to pull this way or reach this far, and then and then as a realization sets in, it's going to just explode in wonderfulness, and you're going to start saying, I can finally, and then all that your soul has ever wanted to do will be accomplished and beyond, because all the things that all the souls ever wanted to do is going to be accomplished, and it's going to just expand and mushroom and be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. And you're going to find out that you believed, and it's true, God was the star of the show. When God came, each and every one of you are going to be part of the show too. And you're going to all shine beautifully and in wondrous ways. So do not worry about all the background people. We're just here to support and help the show.